Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a balmy Northeast. That is hot out there. So hot out there, I saw a squirrel trying to air condition its nuts. But welcome to For What It's Worth, all things politics. My name is Ryan, your host here on the Cole County Entertainment Network. Where do I even start? I don't even know where to start. So much bullshit, so much drama. Makes me laugh, actually. Where to start? President Stupid went over there to Beijing, wherever he was in China. Didn't get anything accomplished other than to take a trip to China. So he actually looked like a buffoon. When doesn't he, though? What clip do I want to play first? Oh, this is him. This is him calling a couple of reporters stupid, like he normally does. So check this out.
Mr. President, your promise to bring inflation down is now at its highest level in 3 years. Are your policies not working? What's happening?
Policies are working incredibly. If you go back to just before the war, for the last 3 months, inflation was at 1.7%. Now, we had a choice. Let these lunatics have a nuclear weapon. If you want to do that, then you're a stupid person, and you happen to be. I mean, I know you very well. Anybody that wants them to have a nuclear weapon is a stupid person.
It's the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, you can't. I gotta laugh at it because it's funny. It's just funny. Not that he's calling someone stupid. It's just funny from the aspect it's all he ever says anymore. Well, we can either have them have a nuclear weapon, or we can deal with all this shit that's going on in our country now. So he would rather deal with Iran not having a nuclear weapon. And if you disagree with him, whether it's inflation, whether it's the ballroom, you're a stupid person. So I guess the majority of the country's stupid. It's just funny. Because you have to laugh at it. Because he's, people gave Biden shit because he was losing some of his faculties. And like I said, I'm not a journalist. I am not a political pundit. I am just someone that follows the issues. But when you see shit like that, there's nothing to do but laugh. Here's another clip of him. I believe this is them talking about some sort of $1 billion bullshit that he's being questioned on.
Do you believe that people who committed violence against Capitol Hill police officers on January 6th should be eligible for compensation from this DOJ fund? And are you or your family members going to be seeking compensation from that fund?
It'll all be dependent on a committee. A committee's being set up of very talented people, very highly respected people. I think it's a committee of 5. And again, I didn't do this deal. It was told to me yesterday. They said they're doing something. I do believe there has to be compensation for people that were destroyed. You have families absolutely destroyed, and it's all going to be determined by a committee of 4 or 5 people that are respected and very brilliant at what they do.
So, let me get this straight. The people who raided the Capitol on January 6th are getting compensated. So they're putting millions of dollars away in a fund to compensate the people who raided the state capitol. This is the mentality we're dealing with. This is Hitler type shit. I'm sorry. It just is. So that was him talking about that. And keeping on that theme, I think the next clip is Mike Johnson talking about, that people in Congress should be able to trade in stock like that because they don't make enough.
You know, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. You know, when you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, a residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them like engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to, take care.
So the average blue collar person, they hear something like that. Mike Johnson should be drug checked. Whether he's taking gummies, whether he's joining Kash Patel in, I don't know, afternoon cocktails. When the American people hear shit like that, your mouth just drops. Well, we make $157,000 a year, but when you factor in inflation and you factor in residences and what, I'm sorry. That is the kind of shit you don't get up in front of a microphone and say that to the American people. You might want to keep that shit to yourself. Because again, average Joe Schmo hears shit like that. The average business owner, small business owner somewhere is just trying to get by. Or maybe people with a lawn care business that are paying astronomical amounts for gas. Yeah, we as Congress members, the salary has been frozen for a couple of years. It should be increased, or we should be able to trade. And never mind your sponsors and your backers who are probably paying a hell of a lot more than your $157,000 a year salary. And of course, it came out today, and I have to pull it up. I'm sure this will make people happy. The IRS is forever barred from investigating Trump or his family for his past tax issues. The Justice Department reached a settlement with Trump to resolve his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS. Doesn't that just like tweak your fanny? So the hits just keep coming. It just keeps getting better. Oh, my goodness gracious. What else do we want to get into? Oh, do I want to play this one next? No. Oh, here's CNN's Caitlin Collins talking to this idiot senator. You can hear her question and listen to his response.
What about his promise in 2024 that if he was reelected, gas would be under $2 a gallon because of his policies?
Well, gas prices were coming down until we had to deal with this situation. But, that's life. That's dealing with world and the world we live in. I think the country gets the fundamental fact, and I know I understand this, President Trump makes decisions that are in the best interest of our nation. 250 years, greatest country in history. He makes decisions that are going to help our country and the long-term security and safety of the people he has and I think you want a commander-in-chief like that. You want a commander-in-chief who's willing to do tough things that he knows are good for us, all of your viewers, everyone in this country, and frankly, everyone around the world. It is good if Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon.
But if someone's listening to you and they were paying $2.98 a gallon of gas before the war started, and now they're paying $4.53, I mean, saying that's life might not, make them feel better.
Those are your words. Those are your words, not mine. I'm saying.
No, you said
this
that's
is
like
the,
just now.
This is the situation.
People don't even know what they fucking said a minute ago. Well, gas prices were coming down before we went to war. So the reason why gas prices are up is because, you know, you went off of information that, you know, supposedly Iran was 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon, where 8 months ago you said that their capability was totally obliterated. So your own fucking stupidity, the gas prices were coming down, your own fucking stupidity by going to war with Iraq, with Israel, is the reason why gas prices came up. Make it make sense to me. It's not rocket science, man. I just find it. This is the mentality on a government level that we are dealing with. Listen to this one. I believe this is Kash Patel and Congressman going back and forth with one another.
I want to go on to the Epstein investigation. Is it closed or open?
When you say the Epstein investigation, what are you referring to, Senator?
Well, the FBI said in last year in July that it had closed the Epstein investigation.
Sorry, this is. I have to like go back and play it. So give me just a second here. So this is the Attorney General, the new Attorney General. He's being grilled about the Epstein files, and the Attorney General's like, "What are you talking about?"
I want to go on to the Epstein investigation. Is it closed or open?
When you say the Epstein investigation, what are you referring to, Senator?
Well, the FBI said in last year in July that it had closed the Epstein investigation. So I'm just using their words. Is it open or closed?
I don't believe the FBI said that.
Well,
I mean, if you're referring,
you're head of the Department of Justice. Is the Epstein investigation open or closed?
But I guess I don't understand what Epstein investigation means.
And that's right, play stupid. His lawyers probably told him to play stupid. He's asked about the Epstein investigation. What are you talking about? What Epstein investigation? Again, this is the mentality we're dealing with. There are some MAGA out there that are coming to their senses now, saying we fucked up. Look, I'm not a Republican, Democrat. I'm independent. I listen to both sides and make my decision, and that's it. I just think it's funny. Oh, here's one. When President Stupid was in China, the day before, he had commented about China's leader being a disappointment, some other stuff. And then the following day, when he's in China, this is what he said.
Such respect for China, the job you've done. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway because it's true. I only say the truth.
And of course, if you would have asked President Trump the day before why he made the comments about China's leader, President, the derogatory comments, oh, I never said that. That's probably what he would say. I wish David Letterman would come back just like have a show just for the duration that President Trump is still in office, because he would come up with some fantastic material. What else do we want to play? Oh, I can't remember the congressman's name, but he was asked specifically at the end of this about gas prices, and look what he does. You'll hear the reporter.
Mr. Comer, what do you make of Donald Trump saying today in the press conference that he doesn't think about Americans' financial situation? that he. I don't know that he said that.
Yeah, he said it at the mics during shopper time.
That's not what I hear him. Every time I talk to him, he's focused on affordability. So,
what about gas prices though? That seems to be like what a lot of people are talking about. Nothing.
Of course, he just walks away. He always talk about affordability, and then when he's questioned about gas prices, no comment. Because there's no defense. There just is no defense. I think this is the clip. President Trump, he doesn't think about America's, concerns financially. When he's thinking about X, Y, and Z, he doesn't even take that into consideration. And then JD Vance, on the flip side of this, JD Vance, well, he said he never said that. Just watch. What happened there? Let's try this again. For some odd reason, it's not going to play it. So let me go to JD Vance. So obviously, President Stupid last week said he doesn't think about, America's financial situation or family's financial situations when he's thinking about Iraq or some other stuff. So JD Vance was questioned about it.
Told me that anyone who assaulted a police officer on January 6th should go to prison. So why not rule out giving them taxpayer-funded money?
Sorry, this is the question, the reporter questioning him about the decision to give the people who invaded, basically rioted, stormed Capitol Hill, why they should get money. Before he said that those people should be put in prison. Here's what he said.
That anyone who assaulted a police officer on January 6th should go to prison. So why not rule out giving them taxpayer-funded money?
Well, Caitlin, what I said is we're going to look at everything case by case.
But why not rule it out?
Because, Caitlin, there are people who I don't know their individual circumstances, and I don't rule things out categorically when I know nothing about a person's individual circumstances. Let's say a person is accused, let's say hypothetically, a person is accused of doing something that they never actually did, that they got a kangaroo court, that they had a judge who mistreated them. I think that we should look at those things case by case. We're not making commitments to give anybody money. We're just making commitments to look at things case by case.
I mean, but just
spin doctoring. No, this is what you said. So why is it different now? The kiss ass. That's all it is. That's all it is. What other buffoonery do I want to play here? I believe the next clip, Congress is questioning, I can't remember the woman's name. I should really start writing this shit down. They're questioning them about the tax bracket, about the income tax bracket, and they're getting questioned.
Is it right that those making under $184,500, their effective payroll tax rate is roughly 12.4%?
That's right. The statutory rate is 6.2%, but consensus view is that the employee pays basically the employer cost is passed on to the employee, and so the employee basically faces a rate of 12.4%.
For anybody earning $104,500. What is the effective payroll tax for someone making $1 million a year?
So they would pay the 12.4% on that first $185,000 roughly, and then would not pay additional tax on labor income above that amount, and so that math would work out to about 2.2%.
Okay, so 12.4% for someone under 184.5. A millionaire would be about 2.2. What if you're a billionaire like Trump or Musk? Your Social Security tax would be effectively, on my understanding,
Very, very much smaller.
0.0002.
Yes.
That just doesn't make sense to me. And when the richest people in the country have the smallest effective tax rate, that does not seem to me like a very fair system, especially when we are now 6 years away from retired workers facing this 24% cut in their Social Security benefits.
Numbers don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. They don't lie. I've said this before and I'll say it again this time around for President Trump. It's a vendetta tour. He don't give a fuck about you. He don't give a fuck about me. He doesn't give a fuck about really most of the country. He's just worried about getting rich and getting back at those who feels that wronged him the last time. That's all it is. This one's a Mike Johnson. And I can't remember what he's talking about here. But this is more stupidity out of him.
Also, speaking of the economic front, gas prices are up, inflation's up, Americans having some financial hardships across the country. That being said, is right now the right time for Congress to be prioritizing $1 billion for security apparatus at the White House, including $220 million for the East Wing ballroom, given the fact that President Trump had said it would be paid for by private donation?
Yeah, look, I think that's a gross misstatement of what's going on here. In the bill, and by the way, it's in a draft form right now, as you know, the second reconciliation bill. Sadly, we have to fund immigration enforcement and border on our own as a Republican Party, because remember, Democrats want to give $0 to it. The Secret Service put in an urgent request for additional security measures. It's not for the ballroom, it's for security measures. Now, we don't know what the final bill is going to be that we get. They got to go through 3 more steps. They're going through the bird bath, the parliamentarian review of the bill. They've got to go through 2 markups in some committees and then ultimately action on the House floor. So we're not going to prejudge that product. We're waiting for it to come from the Senate. But I will say this, that in one section of the bill, it addresses security measures. It's very specifically defined on what those security requests are from the Secret Service. And I will say this, for many of you that were in the ballroom just a few weeks ago and sat through and observed the 3rd failed assassination attempt of a president just in a short number of years here, there's an urgent need for increased security measures. I mean, that is an objective fact, and it should be something that's bipartisan. The ballroom is totally privately funded. The president has dedicated like $400 million for that project, and by the way, it's going to be a donation to the country. You're aware the ballroom will be there long after he leaves, and he'll only get a few months of its use. So he's doing it for the country, but it's what's beneath the ballroom that is, in my view, far more important. And we've needed some of these security measures for a long time, and that's what this is all about. So there's a false narrative out there about it. I'm not going to prejudge the product we get from the Senate, but I certainly understand what the Secret Service's requests are. They have an almost impossible job right now, and they need that extra funding. Yes, sir.
Just to build off that question.
All the other shit that's going on in the country. But we need a ballroom with added security measures. And more Secret Service. It boggles the mind. I was going to play the Kash Patel and the congressman going back and forth. I'm not going to do that. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Let me just see what
2038 is only 12 years. 2038 is only 12 years away, and you and your classmates will be.
Sorry. This is a young man who wrote one of the senators, a MAGA senator, by the way. She's a Republican. It was just a simple request. It's a little bit lengthy, but just listen to this, because this is the shit that we're dealing with as a country.
2038 is only 12 years away, and you and your classmates will be responsible for the debt.
A message from Republican North Carolina Congresswoman Virginia Foxx that was sent to 10-year-old Christian Mango. Christian says certain words she said.
I could understand like half of it, not all of it.
His mother, Emily Mango, says the reply from Fox was in regards to an assignment from Christian's teacher at Canterbury School in Greensboro.
Christian and his class, they're in fourth grade, they wrote a persuasive essay of their choosing, and they mailed it off to a representative, a CEO, whoever the decision maker was that could be influential in hearing their persuasive essay points.
Christian says the topic he chose.
We should have a $5,000 tax rebate for electric cars because they're better than normal cars. They're better for the environment, you pay less, and there's no gas.
Christian says in April he mailed the essay to Fox in a Canterbury school envelope with fourth grade on the return address. A few weeks later, the school received this letter from Representative Fox via email. While the congresswoman thanked the 10-year-old for contacting her, she disagreed with his proposal. Fox cited 6 articles from news organizations such as Fox News and Wall Street Journal. But towards the end of her response, she attacked Christian's teacher.
Ask your teacher to explain propaganda to you, but I will never be able to know. My guess is that your teacher will not be able to give you a good educational experience by helping you to be able to think as they are too interested in indoctrinating you. How sad.
After Christian's mother explained to him what Fox's response meant, the 10-year-old says he's upset Fox went after his teacher when Christian was the one who chose the topic of his essay.
I think that was wrong.
And why?
Because the school didn't do anything.
Emily Mango slammed Fox's response on social media and is now demanding an apology.
So, again, that is the mentality, some of which occupies Congress, House of Representatives. Give a fuck what seat it is. It was just a simple task. It was just a simple assignment that the teacher suggested, and he just did what he thought was right. And that's the kind of fucking response he gets. Before I close this out, with all the shit that's going on in the Middle East, what happened in San Diego, I'll just say this. There's been good and evil since the dawn of time. People are going to hate just to hate. Never going to stop it. Can try and diminish it. We can always combat it the best we can. It'll never stop until people wrap their heads around that. When shit like happened in San Diego or anywhere else, a mosque, a temple, a church, it's pathetic. It's horrible, but it's never going to stop. Because hate breeds hate. Love breeds love. And the two have been combative ever since the dawn of time, ladies and gentlemen. The shit that's going on in the Middle East has been going on since the time of Moses. It's the time of Noah. Since the time of Jesus. It's never going to stop. Period. We just combat it the best we can. And because of what's going on in the Middle East, I don't know. I'm not a fucking military strategist. There's George Bush II would say strategery. But when people, Jews and Arabs, Islam, they've been at odds for over 3,000 years, period. And if anybody thinks they're going to stop it, anybody like President Trump or anybody, look, Anwar Sadat, when he and Menachem Begin and Jimmy Carter signed the peace treaty agreement, one of Anwar Sadat's own generals killed the son of a bitch because In one piece, why are we signing something with Israel? And the flip side, a lot of Hebrews back then were like, why the fuck is Menachem Begin signing this treaty with Carter and Anwar Sadat? What are we doing? Never going to stop it. And much like you hear Islam, Arabs attacking Jews and Jews coming back, and this is a clip. It's about almost 3 minutes long, but this is just the inner workings.
Today is Jerusalem Day, or Yom Yerushalayim in Israel. It commemorates when Israel conquered East Jerusalem after the Six-Day War in 1967. And as you can see, Israeli settlers are here to begin a march starting from Damascus Gate, and they're going to march to the Western Wall. And it's a very scary day for the many Palestinian residents in the Old City. Many of them have closed up their shops in anticipation of this day. They don't want to risk being harassed or assaulted.
Jerusalem Day is the celebration of the occupation of East Jerusalem, and it has been for a long time this big celebration for the far right, where they march with Israeli flags through the old city and attack Palestinians and Palestinian stores.
אל תיגע בי, לא נגעתי בך. אל תיגע בי, אל תיגע בי. סיבה שלך תמות. יאללה, סע מפה. סע מפה, אתה מצלם, תעופי פה. תעופי פה.
Jerusalem Day is a festive day. It's a day about heritage, culture, and really the uniting of the Western Wall in Jerusalem for the Jewish people. We may hear of some isolated incidents of violence. The Israel police absolutely does not condone this behavior. It's unlawful, and we're going to do everything possible to thwart this from taking place.
My name is Ori Shaham. I'm 25 years old, and I'm part of the Standing Together movement. We're a movement of Jewish and Palestinian citizens of Israel fighting for peace, equality, and social justice. No, they're not with me. They're trying to intimidate us. They're trying to be an intimidating force. And this is what they do day in and day out, is to intimidate people. It's to try to create as much fear and violence as possible. So they're not even letting me commit this interview right now. But this is just a tiny, tiny fraction of what the settlers do every day.
So again, I'll say this, as I said a couple of minutes ago, that shit's been going on since the time of Moses, since the time of Noah, since the time of Jesus. It's never gonna fucking stop. We can try and minimize it as possible. We can try and combat it as much as possible. Evil around the world, but they've been at each other's throats for years. When it comes to Iran, supposedly, again, this is coming from the president's mouth, June 2025, we've completely obliterated, we've completely knocked out their nuclear capability. And then 8 months later, they were 2 weeks away from having and of course, if you ask President Trump why he said that, I never said that. But if you play the clip, yeah, he did. I don't know what the answer is at this point. The world is fucked. That's all I can say. So, with all that being said, I was going to do another show at 8 o'clock. Early eating sports buffet with again sharing the Cole County Entertainment Network, but it's hot. It's just dang hot. all the shit that's in the air. My allergies are kicking in. So enjoy. I would encourage you to delve in to the issues at hand today and tomorrow and in the future and even in the past. Because the more you're informed, the better your mind is, and you can formulate your opinion or your thoughts on said issues that are going on around the globe and in this country today. So enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. I'm out of here. Stay cool. Check on your animals. Bring them inside. Hydrate. Check on your elderly. I'm out. I'll see everybody tomorrow.